Come on, Jerry.
It's like
Best ideas in the world.
This is the original. They told me this is one thing. Cantor O'Connor. This is the original. They told me this was one thing. Cantor O'Connor. Hello, I'm Jerry Cutler, privileged to be Rabbi and Creative Arts Center. We are a unique congregation whose thrust is the joy of Judaism through the creative arts. You're about to see a co-midray service with our cantor Hale Porter and soloist Tanya Solomon.
It's nice to hear your voice again. I've waited all day long, even wrote a song for you. It's strange the way you make me feel. With just a word or two, I'd like to do the same for you. It's nice to hear you sing. Very soon it's time to go, and all this job to do, while I'm here writing songs for you. Strange how a phone call can change your day, take you away from the feeling of being alone. Bless the telephone.
Looks like I had too much to drink last night.
It's nice the way you say my name. Not very fast or slow, just a soft and low, the same as when you tell me how you feel. I've not seen for you, very much in love.
As I said, I'm sending you via TV or whatever this is. Oh, okay, go ahead.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. And when I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. And when I come home, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's coming home to you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you. That I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more, just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be the man who's waking up to you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream. I'm gonna dream about the time I had with you.
A chassid walks into a bar. He's wearing a stripe fur hat, long black coat to the bottom, scissors hanging out of his pants, and on his shoulders a multicolored parrot. He walks up to the bartender. The bartender said, "Where did you get that?" And the parrot says, "In Brooklyn, there are thousands of them."
We're always looking for something that's going to bring us that spark, which will set us off again and say, okay, let's go for it. And it's a new perspective, it's a new activity.
Problems around our shoulders, keep them at the neighbor's wallets, just around the shoulders. I thank you for our question for being with us. Maybe the best possible year that you've ever had in your life. Closer, shalom, to your heart.
To each and every one of you. God bless you. Amen.
Okay, well, that's not, we have a little more volume on the mic, please. Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. First of all, on behalf of Jeff and all of Jerry's daughters, thank you everyone for being here, those in person, those watching on the live stream. My name is Eric Rothman. I run Malino and Silverman Mortuary. When I started my career in funeral business 36 years ago, Jerry was among the first rabbis that I worked with. I have worked with him hundreds and hundreds of times since then. He's officiated lifestyle events for various family members of mine. I'm happy to have called him a friend, but I am honored that I know he considered me a friend. Officiating today, and I know Jerry is felling over this, his daughter Chelsea, and dear family friend, Scott Miles. Before we start, everyone please take a moment, check your phones, make sure that they're silenced. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. That was a beautiful video. I mean, if you're going to be upstage by the best. So Rabbi Jerry will always be remembered as a tzaddik. And a tzaddik is someone who lives in covenant with God and expresses this relationship through justice, compassion, strong leadership, and adherence to the mitzvot. One whose wisdom guided our community, whose compassion touched countless lives, and whose presence brought comfort to so many. Rabbi Jerry's life radiated joy, compassion, wit, and deep spiritual warmth. Rabbi Jerry did not simply lead a congregation. He embraced a community. He stood at the intersection of faith and laughter, tradition and creativity, reverence and humanity. In a city as sprawling and diverse as Los Angeles, he created something intimate and sacred, a spiritual home where artists, dreamers, seekers, and skeptics alike felt seen and cherished. He reminded us that holiness is not confined to solemn spaces. It can live in a punchline, and a melody, and a warm embrace. In Jewish tradition, we speak of the Lamed Vav Tzadikim and the 36 righteous souls whose goodness sustains the world. And the teaching tells us that at any given time, there are 36 individuals imbued with such deep faith in God and devotion to peoplehood that the fate of humanity rests upon their shoulders. And these tzaddiks do not know who they are. They do not seek recognition. They simply live with kindness, integrity, and devotion to others. And so today, with tears in our eyes and gratitude in our hearts, we say that with Rabbi Jerry's passing, there are now 35. And if the world stands because of 36 hidden righteous souls, then surely it stands today because Rabbi Jerry lived among us. And perhaps his final teaching is this, that righteousness is not reserved for the rare and mystical. It is born in everyday acts of decency, in welcoming the outsider, in forgiving the imperfect, in laughing through pain, in loving deeply. So may we honor him not only with our words, but with our lives. May we carry forward his humor, his humanity, his devotion to community. And may we each strive in our own quiet ways to help bring that sacred number back to 36. And may his memory be for a blessing.
Hello. If you didn't start with that video, I might be a little more composed, but I'm overwhelmed by all of you. On behalf of my family, thank you for being here not only to honor our father, but to be a comfort to us, and you really are. I've done many funerals with my father, usually with him by my side. Not like this. And today obviously is a little different. It's the first one I do without him, for him. And it is my greatest honor. He always began a funeral with talking about a Jewish sage, and his name, Ben Sira. And when Ben Sira was asked about grief and loss, he thought about it. Maybe he channeled something, and he sat down and wrote this. Fear not death. This is something we share with all who lived and all who ever will be. Cry for those who have passed on. Do not hide your grief. Do not restrain your mourning. But remember that continuing sorrow is worse than death. When the dead are at rest, let their memory be a source of peace, and be consoled when the soul departs. Death is better than a life of pain, and eternal rest than constant sickness. Do not seek to understand what is too difficult for you. Search not for that which is hidden from you. Be not overoccupied with what is beyond you. For you, my friend, have been shown much more than you can ever understand. As a drop of water in the sea, as a grain of sand on the shore, are our few days in eternity. The good things in life last for limited days, but a good name, that endures forever. And Rabbi Jerry Ram Cutler is the best name I've ever heard in my life. He passed on Purim. And that is the only day in the Jewish year that we are commanded to laugh. And he commanded laughter, whether it was funeral or comedy shtick. But some say that the death of a Jewish person, the day of their departure, is more important than their birth. It's something that every year we commemorate. And every Purim, we will definitely be laughing and crying and thinking of our dear, dear father, our daddy, Rabbi Jerry Cutler. David was very young and immature when he was crowned king. He was a wild bachelor. He was unsympathetic to the people he ruled. And he didn't have an open heart. So God came down and spoke to him and said, "You must be amongst the people and open your heart, and you must grow." And so David did just that, and he learned of their plight, and he fell in love with the people that he didn't know before. And this made him the best king that ever was known, King David, and he went back to his throne. But this experience also gave him stronger faith. And so he sat down and wrote the 23rd Psalm, which I am proud to announce our choir. The Lord is our shepherd. Nani, Nini, Nuni, Ninachka, Judy, Scott, and Tony.
Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thus anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Thank you, and thank you, Lindsay. He also always read something by Ecclesiastes: to everything there is a season. I know you know of it. For everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, sadly, a time to die. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather them together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, and a time to keep, a time to be silent, and a time to speak. And I'm going to introduce some speakers, but before that, my mom changed around the funeral rundown right before I started. So I'm actually going to sing, if I can. When I was born, my mother was too ill to hold me, so the first person to hold me was my father. And I was crying and crying. And he asked the doctor, "What do I do with this?" And the doctor said, "Sing to her." And he used to say he knew the beginning of thousands of songs. But this is what came to him. And so he sang this to me to help bring me into this existence. And I sang this for him to soothe him as he was leaving this existence and going into another. I know he's somewhere. It's a Yiddish song about a rabbi teaching children the Aleph Beis in front of a hearth. Yeah, we didn't rehearse this. We didn't even talk about key, but I think this is right. I don't know. Ohne Stubis heiß und der Rebellerin kleine Kinderlach dem Aleph Beis und der Rebellerin kleine Kinderlach dem Aleph Beis. And I'll just take it over from here. It was a little too high. I have to go places. Solche Kinderlach, gedansche teure, was ihr lernen du. Solche nach Amor und if you know it, you gotta sing with me. Und que noch amor começa vor. Solche noch amor und que noch amor começa vor. Back to the beginning. Oi from Pripyat brennt der Feuer ohne Stubis heiß und der Rebellerin kleine Kinderlach dem Aleph Beis und der Rebellerin kleine Kinderlach dem Aleph Beis. Thank you. We all sang that one last time for him. I know he's here. I know he's watching. And I'd like to bring up Scott. My father wrote his own bio for something quite a few years ago, and he did it with some humor, and it's kind of short. So we're having Scott read it, and then Scott has a few words of his own to say. So, Scott, please do us the honor. Oh, wow.
Jerry Cutler began his show business career as a comedian using the name of Jerry Herring. I should stop right there. He entertained primarily in Atlantic City and New York's Borscht Circuit. And after 8 years of joke telling, he found himself at the Concord Hotel as a busboy. Realizing he was the only act in the history of the Catskill Mountains to go from comic to busboy, he quit. He quit with the comforting thought that at least it took him 8 years to get there. After receiving his journalism degree from New York University and the rabbinical degree from the Academy for Higher Jewish Learning, Jerry joined the faculty at NYU. And after a stint at a motion picture company, he moved to California, realizing a need for religious services geared to show business personalities. Jerry and a few industry friends started the Synagogue for the Performing Arts. Jerry and his wife, Jeff, a beautiful former actress, produced a number of documentaries both here and abroad, and a telethon, L'chaim, to life. With Jeff producing and Jerry writing, the annual Chabad Telethon became the most successful show of its kind in local TV history. And a few years ago, he co-authored Tin Pan Man, a musical depicting the early stages of music publication that had its world premiere at the La Mirada Theater for the Performing Arts. And presently, and I'll use the present tense, he is the rabbi of a highly innovative and unique unorthodox congregation, the Creative Arts Temple. As an actor, he has been typecast as a rabbi in various TV shows and the movie. Jerry was the resident movie critic on KBC Radio's Minyard and Barkley show. And together with his friend, Father Vince Connor, a Catholic priest, he had a weekly radio movie review show on KRLA called Review from the Pew. That's good. He is currently the movie and theater reviewer for the Beverly Hills Courier. And he is the proud father of 5 daughters, Nina, Mila, Daniela, Chelsana, and Tess.
Oh, are you going to do it? It's up to you.
I so appreciated being introduced as a family friend because his family has been such a blessing in my life. So we are gathered to honor a most holy soul, Rabbi Jerry Cutler of Creative Arts Temple, who, having so beautifully fulfilled his mission on earth, now returns to God in blessed standing. And together we gather with heavy hearts to remember this great man. And yet, as I stand here speaking, I cannot shake a quiet feeling in my heart that he is not entirely gone. And in some mysterious and tender way, it feels as though he is standing right beside me, just as he did so many times in life, offering that familiar warmth, that steady encouragement, and the gentle reassurance that even in moments of sorrow, we are not alone. And of course, he was far more than a rabbi to us. He was a devoted father who loved his children and grandchildren with a deep and patient pride. A wonderful husband in partnership with the love of his life, Jeff. A life that was filled with loyalty and so much laughter. And he was a true friend who knew how to listen, how to laugh, and how to stand beside you when life became difficult. And perhaps that is the true measure of a life so beautifully lived. Even now, in this moment of loss, his love surrounds us. His voice echoes in our memory. His kindness lives on in the people he shaped, and the light of his life continues to glow in the hearts of all who were blessed to know him. And though my fondest memories will always be his great humor, he would often tease me in front of families he was sitting with before a funeral. And this is in my role as a funeral service director at Mount Sinai for the past 19 years, and I was with him countless times. He would be sitting with a family, And he would stop everything and say to them, "You see that hair? It's a wig." I tried to look annoyed, but I actually loved it. And many times when I would introduce him conducting a service, he would whisper something so funny that it was all I could do not to laugh out loud. He was hysterical. Like when he would say that he knows God is a woman. Why? Because he has 5 daughters. It never failed to get a big laugh. Now, he would send me emails. Boy, would he send me emails. And I'm sure many of you have received his emails like I have, and probably many not appropriate for this service. And Shelsana, I will never forget spending Thanksgiving at your home some years ago. Jeff was away, and you prepared the most amazing holiday dinner, and Jerry was, as always, such a welcoming host. And that night of joy and laughter has stayed in my heart and is a memory I cherish. Lastly, what I will miss most is how he would end our phone conversation saying, "Be well, my darling. Thank you so much for calling. Regards to all the family." And so those memories barely scratch the surface how deeply he touched my soul. So I'll just finish with Schluff, Jerry. Schluff, Rabbi. Schluff.
You mentioned my father and the Catskills, the Borscht Belt. And before he was hired as a comic, he had many jobs in the hotels. He had no business doing, actually. He was a cha-cha instructor. And he didn't have great rhythm. He was a lifeguard who was deathly afraid of water. And one day, he was sitting up at his post and chatting it up. And he hears people call him. He's screaming, "Jerry, Jerry, there's someone drowning." And out of everyone at the pool, including the guy who was drowning, he was panicked the most. And he stumbles up of his lifeguard chair and he's thinking, "What do I do?" So he looks for the nearest pool net and he finds it and he grabs one and makes sure that the drowning man could reach the other end. He says, "Grab on!" And he starts pulling the guy in and he saved the guy's life. And the next morning, he was a maitre d' in the cafeteria. And people are walking past him. They don't recognize him. But he overhears, "Oh, did you see Jerry? He dove in. He grabbed the guy with one arm. With the other arm, he's swimming." So he became a legend from that point on in the Catskills. And when he was hired to be a comic, as Jerry Herring, one of his first gigs was to be an MC for a comedy show. And one of the comics was Five-ish Finkel. He was extremely nervous that he'd forget all the jokes. So he wrote down all the punchlines on a note card. And he put it in front of the mic stand on the floor, just for his eyes. And then he introduces Five-ish Finkel, and Five-ish Finkel, "Hello, everybody." And then he realizes there's something in front of the mic stand. And he goes, "What's this?" And he picks it up and he reads all of his punchlines. And so he found a way to better prepare himself for his comedy gigs. But that's it for now. I'll keep some others for in between others. I want to call up his granddaughter, my niece Zoe. She has a little poem that she'd like to share.
Hello. I was gonna read a poem, and then this morning I was thinking, and I said, Saba, I want to say something, but I want to make sure you like it. And a song was stuck in my head, a musical, a show tune, of course. So I am going to read that instead, because I think he wants me to. From Phantom of the Opera. No more talk of darkness. Forget these wide-eyed fears. I'm here, nothing can harm you. My words will warm and calm you. Let me be your freedom. Let daylight dry your tears. I'm here with you, beside you, to guard you and to guide you. Say you'll share with me one love, one lifetime. Love me, that's all I ask of you. And I know he is here watching his funeral, guarding and guiding me for my whole life long. And I will miss him very much, but I still know he's here with us.
Thank you, Zozo, as her Saba calls her. Tess, are you? So, the video that you saw, Tess and her friend Joel were able to put that together just last night, very quickly. And she also wrote something last night, or you want to do it or not? Oh, this morning. Tessie Bessie Mackenzie Offessen, as my dad called her.
I can't find what I wrote, but
Hey.
I can't be sad because he brings so much joy, and it's weird, you know. I don't know how, I never knew how I'd respond to this. And there is a comfort. I do feel him. I don't think he's ever gonna leave. I think he's more present than he ever could have been before. I'm gonna miss the way he combs his hair and he sprays it. With your hairspray. I'm going to miss how he says, like, ambrosia when you're scratching his back and he likes it. I'm going to miss him so much. And I'm so proud that he makes me smile when I think of him. And I'm so proud that when everyone gives their love, they mention his humor and his light. And Chelsea did mention that he did pass on Purim. And I don't want to say die because that seems too finite. And that's not who he is. But in Jewish mysticism, they say that your day of death, it almost sums up the person. It represents them. And his father, who was a Talmudic scholar, he died on Rosh Hashanah, the day of awe, in his library. You know, like, okay. And he died on Purim, like the holiday of groggers and spiels. But that doesn't minimize his holiness, because there's so much holiness in that. It's in quiet miracles. Things you don't even know are miracles, they're masked. They're achievable by humans, and that's my father. I'm blessed to be his daughter, and I will always be his daughter. And thank you for coming and showing your love today.
All five of us have obviously his genes, but we all have taken something from him. His characteristics, his charisma, we have the way he thought, we have, it expresses itself differently in all of us, his humor, and it comes out differently in all five of us, and I love seeing that. And my sister Tess has a certain brilliance and Saba's that I love to hear her speak, and even when she loses what she's written, she remembers enough that it's very impactful, and she has his depth and his wacky humor. And I love her very, very profoundly, as I love all of my sisters, because I see my dad in all of them. And I'm so, so grateful. And next I call up the love of his life, my mother, Lady Jeff.
All right. I'm going to be very strong through this because I feel Jerry within me. He's been holding me together, and I have promised him I will not break down crying. So, people keep telling me that Jerry passed with grace, and I keep thinking, who the hell is Grace? And why And why is this the first time I'm hearing of it? Because the truth is, anyone who saw Jerry in these last days knows it wasn't a poetic movie scene. Jerry suffered, and watching someone you love suffer is one of the hardest things in the world. We had Nina and Mila, Donnie, Chalsana, Tess, and me, and our darling, darling Pauline, who we love beyond measure, who led us all through that time. We also had Justin, who tried to work him out and keep his body going. We had Dr. Tony, who used laser on him and tried everything he could, and Colin, and we will always be thankful for that. Jerry lived with grace, and in the end, he did pass with grace. Jerry was the most loving, giving, empathetic, and funniest human being I had ever met. He was funny up till the end. If anyone came in and said, "Are you comfortable?" he'd always say that old joke, "I make a living." Because of Jerry, our house was always filled with a collection of quirky, weird, crazy, and occasionally sane people. Jerry loved them all. He felt for everyone, and everyone loved him right back. Life around him was never dull. It was interesting, unpredictable, and full of laughter. From the moment we met, we worked together. I started out as his announcer on a celebrity talk show he was hosting and producing, and ended up being associate producer because he wasn't very good at producing. Because of Fernfield Brooks, we wrote together for Norman Lear's The Baxters, and that was the last time. We fought about every line, and I decided he should write alone. I ended up producing, and Jerry was writing. We were a team. We would squabble because Jerry was always late turning in his writing. You remember that, Andrew. Anyway, eventually I figured out I needed a strategy. Jerry loved beautiful women. He was a woman's man. Women surrounded him his entire life. So I hired a smart, attractive woman, and she was going to be my messenger. They would go to Jerry. I'd say, I need this paper, this script here. They go to Jerry and say, sweetly but firmly, Jerry, we really need these pages. And somehow the work would magically get done. It worked beautifully. We all stayed happy. We had, he was a tremendously talented writer. He was poetic, passionate, and he could tell a story like no one else. During the days we were at the L'chaim to Life telethon, he wrote all 6 hours every year because we had to be very careful about what the celebrities would say and would unknowingly offend the Hasidim. He would write the announcer's script and with tongue in cheek, and we would all be hysterical as well as the announcer when we were recording it. He, remember that. He would do the craziest things. Rabbi Kunin, the head honcho rabbi of Chabad, he would come into our offices, and one day he was walking out. Were you going to tell that story? Well, that's all right. Andrew will fill in the rest. Okay.
I got another.
Oh, all right. Anyway, so as Rabbi Kunin went walking out, we just lost it. There was a big sign on his back that said, "Kick me." That was put there by Jerry. And Jerry was so Jewish. He was incredibly proud of being Jewish and proud of what Jewish people had contributed to this world. He carried that pride everywhere. And he brought so many unaffiliated Jews back to Judaism because he made it make sense to them. He embraced what tradition was, but he spoke to himself and shared it with warmth, humor, and love. Because of Jerry, people came back to services. Because of Jerry, people felt welcomed. And because of Jerry, my life changed completely. He made me proud Jew. He introduced me to the beauty of the Jewish community and its embrace. He taught me so much, and I share his pride in it. But beyond the rabbi, the writer, the comedian, Jerry was my Jake. He called me Maggie. And we had a real love affair for nearly 42 years. Leave it to Jerry, he'd check out before we hit our 42, a month away. But actually, we've been together for 48 years because 6 years we were just together. And I don't know if we ever would have married, but I got pregnant with Chelsea. And Jerry had been honored. Well, actually, he was roasted by all the comedians. And we knew I was pregnant. And his brother was in town. And he and I had a little altercation. We always did. And we said, well, if we're going to do it, we should do it while Irwin's here. Well, on a weekend, we went down to San Diego. We had a concert we were doing there. And we both looked at all the beautiful flowers, and we said, we can take these flowers. And so let's do it. April 1st, we said, no, people won't believe we're doing this. So we made it April 2nd. We hauled all the flowers back to our place, and we threw a wedding together. And the congregation, our close friends, they brought a cake, they brought me a bouquet, all the things I wouldn't think of doing. And so we had a beautiful wedding, and we were married by many different rabbis and cantors, and it was wonderful. Anyway, that was that. Jerry loved me unconditionally. In his eyes, I was always the most beautiful, always kind, always loving, no matter what I did or what I looked like. Even when I gained weight, Jerry would say, well, there's just more to love. Because of him, I always felt safe. I felt adored, and that gave me the confidence to go out into the world and do whatever I wanted, because I knew Jerry was always there and he always had my back. Jerry wasn't a big traveler. Every place we ever went, it always reminded him of the Catskills. But he encouraged me to travel with our girls and my friends. He wanted me to enjoy what I loved. And Jerry had some very unique habits. Jerry would spend hours in the bathroom and use an unbelievable amount of toilet paper. I hoarded toilet paper even before the pandemic. And I used to complain, Jerry, we have a bidet. Use it. We don't own stock in extra soft Charmin. What he started doing was when he finished a roll, Jerry would write the most romantic, loving little notes to me on the empty cardboard floor. During his last days, I reached into the closet for toothpaste, and I found them again. The love toilet paper rolls. Little messages extolling his love for me. And finding them made me fall in love with him all over again. As a matter of fact, we all put little messages in the casket with Jerry. I know, it's beschert. There was a toilet paper roll in our bathroom, and I wrote all my love letters to Jerry, and I put it in the casket, so he'll be at home. Okay, he was one of a kind. Jerry was also always dreaming up new ideas, always pulling us into new things. We had friends who owned a successful travel company back when Club Med was all the rage. Jerry convinced them we should start a club called Club Happy, with the slogan, "Don't go away Med, go away happy." We even had cards. And of course, this last, he taught a bunch of people conversion. So we went to Malibu on the beach, and Jerry stood with his back to the ocean, and he's talking to everyone. And I'm sitting there watching the waves getting bigger and bigger. And I'm going, oh my God, I wish he'd stop talking. Anyway, it would be that 3 girls would be together. They'd be wearing muumuus, so that the one in the middle, and they keep changing places, would slip off her muumuu and dip 3 times. Well, this one poor girl was being pulled out, and we kept trying to get her in. And it was back and forth, until behind the rocks, there was a fisherman. His line had gotten tangled around this girl. So we had to say, stop, stop. And we got her in, and she was fine. But then there were another 3 girls, and the one in the middle was the cutest thing. She was only about this high, and she had the biggest titties. So anyway, Jerry, of course, went in to get her. He probably thought they could float. And Chelsea told you what kind of a swimmer he was. So I had to jump in. And when I did, I thought, who will I save first? So I saved the cute little one with her. And I had to go back for Jerry. I did go back for Jerry, and I brought him in. It was, here, I had that written down. Okay, but at that moment, oh, I'm sorry, I got carried away here. Anyway, everyone ended up naked, freezing, shaking, and emotional. We were all in tears. And it was probably the most dramatic conversion to Judaism in history. Jerry welcomed them to the Jewish people with 2,000 years of retroactive suffering. That was life with Jerry. We had so many moments like that, stories we would tell again and again, laughing every single time. I was so lucky to spend my life with him and to be loved by him. Jerry was my lover, my confidant, my best friend. Oh, I lost the last part. I miss him terribly. But what gives me comfort is knowing that the love Jerry gave to me, to all of you, to everyone whose life he touched, that love doesn't disappear. It lives on in all of us. And maybe that's what people mean when they say someone passes with grace. Jerry lived grace, and he filled our lives with love, laughter, and a little bit of beautiful chaos. He was a Lamed Vavnik. He always thought Joanne Osiri was a Lamed Vavnik. He too was a Lamed Vavnik. That was my Jake. I will love him forever. Jerry and I didn't just have a marriage. We had a legendary partnership. As Jerry would say, sei gesund.
As my mom was telling the story, and she was searching for the appropriate word for the upper region, I was gonna help her out and say bust, chest, but she found something else. I also have to mention, Uncle Erwin was one of the rabbis that married you guys.
Yes.
And Uncle Erwin meant a tremendous deal. He was also a rabbi, his brother, to my father, and I know families watching right now. Erwin was a huge inspiration to him, but a huge comfort. And at every Dodger game, you'd hear, "Hello, brother, did you see what just happened?" And as he was the last few weeks of his life, he was having conversations with him. And Erwin has passed, and has been passed for a while. And I think that gave all of my sisters and great comfort that Uncle Erwin was watching over him and preparing to take him home. Next, we have Ruta Lee, who wants to, hello, Dolly. Ruta Lee was.
Can you get a crane for me? I've got great knees up my behind here. Thank you very, very much.
Ruta Lee was one of the brides in Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. And hello, Dolly. She was Dolly.
I'm so, excuse me, happy that we've had an afternoon of smiles. Because if there's one expression that belongs to Jerry, it's love and laughter. They go together. I've known Jerry for so long that I've forgotten how we met. It doesn't matter. But if you got Jerry, and Jerry was one of the greatest gifts that God put into my life, and I think into all of our lives. Not only did you get Jerry, but you got the whole mishpucha. You got that gorgeous Jeff, the gorgeous Chalsana, the gorgeous, they're all so friggin' gorgeous. What'd you do, drown all the ugly ones? Just amazing. I am not of the Jewish persuasion. Most people would think I am Jewish. Well, I think I am in many ways. Hell, Jesus was Jewish. We talked a lot, we laughed a lot, we shared a lot of jokes. But if there's one thing that we agreed about, and folks, I think you too will agree, is that worry is a total waste of time. Worry debilitates you, does nothing for you. If you really stop and think about it, folks, there are only two things in life to worry about. Either you are well or you are sick. If you're well, you have nothing to worry about. If you're sick, you have two things to worry about. Either you will get better or you will die. If you get better, you have nothing to worry about. If you die, you have two things to worry about. My way, either you are going to heaven or you're going to hell. If you go to heaven, you have nothing to worry about. If you go to hell, you're going to be so busy saying hello to all your friends, you won't have time to worry. One other thing that Jerry taught me, and that is quite serious, that in this life that we live, it's always difficult. Every generation has problems. It just seems particularly difficult right now. And Jerry said, if you're going to get along with your fellow man in this world and in this life, there are 4 religious truths that you must learn and accept and live with if you want to see peace and tranquility in your life. Truth number 1, Muslims do not recognize the Jews as God's chosen people. Truth number 2, Jews do not recognize Christ as the Messiah. Truth number 3, Protestants do not recognize the Pope as the leader of the Christian world. And truth number 4, Southern Baptists do not recognize each other at Hooters or the liquor store. This has been the absolutely perfect funeral, one filled with love and laughter for the most delicious man God put on this earth. Thank you for being a part of his life.
Thank you, Ruta. I'm going to have Andrew, who is a surrogate son, the only son. My dad was only capable of having daughters, but Andrew got in there.
Why not? Oh my gosh, that's a hard act to follow. I need my daughter for support here, like literally for support. This is kind of just, I'm not really a great speaker, but I threw down some thoughts, and yeah, I had ChatGPT kind of help me out, but kind of look at it and organize it. It's an open letter to Nina, Donnie, Mila, Jefferson, Chelsea, Tess. And I just want to say one thing. I met the Cutlers on the Chabad telethon. I went up and met them. Jerry was writing, Jefferson was producing, and I wound up becoming the associate producer. Why? Because she wasn't a good producer. Okay. There are moments in life when words feel small, and this is obviously one of them. For more than 40 years, your family has woven into the fabric of my life. From the very first moment I met Jefferson and Jerry, I knew instinctively that they were extraordinary people. There was a warmth, a depth, and a generosity of spirit that you don't encounter often, and it was unmistakable. Jerry became something to me more. Jerry became something to me that I didn't even realize I had been missing. He'd become the father that I had never had. Not by declaration, not by ceremony, but through presence, through kindness, through the steady, loving way he showed up in my life again and again over 4 decades. We've shared so many memories that feel so sacred now. Trips to New York, many trips to New York. Time in Big Bear, Erica. Evenings that were nothing more than sitting together and doing absolutely nothing. Watching the Dodgers on TV, laughing, talking, and just being. The ordinary moments that somehow became extraordinary because Jerry was there. My children, Noah and Sarah, have always called him Uncle Jerry. And that says everything. He wasn't just my chosen family, he was theirs too. He showed them what warmth looks like, what consistency looks like, and what love without conditions looks like. Jerry had a way of making people feel safe, valued. He listened in a way that made you feel like your words matter. He offered wisdom without ego, guidance without judgment, humor at exactly the right moment, sometimes not at the right moment. Which kind of makes me want to tell a story, but I'm kind of hesitant, but I'm going to just go for it. One of the very first days I met Jerry Cutler, he was a rabbi, and that meant authority to me. It was, I'm with a rabbi, and he's a friend of mine, kind of, briefly. He had me give him a ride somewhere. I forget where we were, but I was driving, and he was sitting in the passenger seat, and we were driving through UCLA campus, and he sees a friend of his out my window, and he tells me to roll down my window, and I roll down my window, and again, I'm with a rabbi. It's so strange and out of place. And I roll down my window, and he sees his friend. I don't know who the friend was. Moshe, I don't know. He screams out at the top of his lungs, "Hey, Moshe, you dirty Jew bastard." And I was shocked. I was honestly shocked. Where did it go?
Dirty Jew bastard.
Oh, okay. That wasn't part of
inappropriate humor.
Right
here.
Get out of here. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me, guys. Jerry had a way of making people feel safe. I told you that. Humor. And now I find myself in a depth of pain that surprises me, even more so than when I lost my biological father. That realization tells its own story. Love is not defined by biology, it is defined by presence. And Jerry had been present in my life in a way that changed me forever. Jefferson, your partnership with Jerry has been a model of devotion and grace. Grace. The three of you. The love between you has always been evident, steady, and inspiring. Chelsana and Tess and Nina and Mila and Donnie, you guys carry forward his kindness, his intelligence, his heart. That is his living legacy. There's no perfect words for this moment, but please know this. Your husband, your father, My father, in every way that truly counts, has shaped my life more than he may ever have realized. The trips, the laughter, the quiet moments, the Dodger games, they all stitched into my story, and so is he. I'm grieving deeply, but I'm also profoundly grateful. And I thank you all for sharing this man with me for all this time. Thank you.
I think this is the first funeral I've been to where there's applause after this is it. I didn't get any, but I'm not but really, it's kind of fun. Michael Zayford, please come up. Woo. By the way, I don't know if you remember, but in the video, my father is outside talking to someone on speaker, and he says, "Looks like you've been drinking all night," and this is him.
At this rate, the burial will take place on Monday. And I have another gig tonight in Palm Desert at 7 o'clock. Some of this might be a little repetitious. Today we gather to honor and remember my dear friend Jerry Cutler, someone who meant more to me than words can truly capture. It's hard to stand here and speak about Jerry in the past tense. He was such a constant presence in my life, steady, loyal, and full of heart. When I think of him, I don't just think of a friend. I think of laughter that filled the room, of long conversations that lasted for hours, of someone who showed up and really showed up when it mattered most. I first met Jerry in December 1969 when I opened my first pharmacy on Beverly Drive next to Nate Now's called ShopRite Drugs. And our logo was the two guys from Brooklyn. In walks Jerry holding a little girl about 3 years old and shouts, "Where are the two guys from Brooklyn?" Typical of Jerry. With that, I walked out to greet him when his daughter Nina put out her hand and knocked down all the merchandise on the shelf. He was 35 at the time, and I was 28. We laughed, and that's how our lifelong relationship began. Jerry was born in New York City. He came from 6 generations of rabbis in his family, and the son of Edna and Rabbi Abraham I. Cutler, an Orthodox rabbi, and his brother, also a Rabbi, Irwin. He grew up in Brooklyn and graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School, the same one my parents, Max and Janet Zayford, graduated from, and they both hit it off from the beginning. He then went on to New York University, where he studied, as he was told, and for the rabbinate. But Jerry was more interested in making people laugh than preaching from the pulpit. As was said before, he was a comedian in the Catskill Mountains, performing under the name of Jerry Herring, and later became a talent agent representing Stanley Myron Handelman and Mal Z. Lawrence, among others. He soon moved to Los Angeles, where he worked as a publicist for the American International Pictures Beach Party Films. He also wrote, unbelievable, a celebrity kosher cookbook. A man of unlimited talent. He was a constant advisor to the cartoon Bible series produced by Hanna-Barbera. One day he said to me, He had a vision of creating a place for people in the performing arts to go and be rewarded in a house of worship for their accomplishments. He asked me to join him at his house for a Shabbat dinner to discuss the idea. I told him, like many people my age, I haven't been to services in a long time. That's how the Synagogue for the Performing Arts started, in his living room. He wanted people to experience the joy of Judaism. In 1972, quite a few of his friends in the industry expressed a desire to have a place of worship which would retain the age-old warmth and fire of Yiddishkeit and combine that with a sense of accomplishment and pride of the contemporary Jew. And because of his commitment, hundreds of worshipers attended his Friday night services, the first Shabbat of the month, as well as his outstanding high holiday services at the Beverly Hills High School for many, many years. His services were unorthodox, but were uplifting and awe-inspiring. He was famously known as the rabbi to the stars. And all the stars came to the Synagogue of the Performing Arts, which he started in 1972, not only to worship, but also to participate in the services. And those people included Sid Caesar, Jan Murray, Walter Matthau, Alan Bly, Marty Allen, Red Buttons, Jack Carter, Richard Benjamin and Paula Prentice, Lanny Kazan, James Kahn, Harvey Lembeck, Arthur Hiller, Joe Seligman, producers, directors, writers, and so many more. In 1976, he started a new temple called the Creative Arts Temple, which continues successfully to this day, run by his wife Jeff and daughter Chelsana. I don't know, he also talked me into being his vice president one year. He said, don't worry, no one will ever call you up to say anything. I was called up all the time. Almost all of his loyal followers transferred to his new synagogue, which certainly made him happy and very appreciative. When the Chabad house, if you remember, burned down in Westwood, and Chabad decided to put on a telethon similar to what Jerry Lewis did for the muscular dystrophy, Jeff and Jerry stepped in. Jerry was the writer and Jeff was the producer of the show. What a great team they made. Jerry and Jeff, you really made the difference. In the mid-70s, Jerry decided he wanted to play softball. So he formed a team of his friends and he entered us in a league in the Valley. We had Gary Marshall, Tom Selleck, Rob Reiner, and I know Neil Cass is here today, and several TV writers with Jerry as the pitcher. You can imagine Jerry pitching. We were pretty good, and we played for the championship. I think the team was called the 3rd Avenue L. Then he decided we were so good that he was going to enter us in the show business league, playing at the Barrington Avenue Park in Brentwood. We played with Gary Crosby, James Garner, James Caan, Bobby Darin, Harvey Lembeck, and many other stars at that time. What fun and laughter we had every Sunday. And the irony of this team, Gary Crosby played second base. And unfortunately, he passed away. We had to get another second baseman. So we got Bobby Darin. Bobby Darin played for one season, and he passed away. Nobody else wanted to play second base. He performed many marriages over the years, including my wife Lynn and me, my sister Joanne and Yossi, and was there to perform the baby naming for all my daughters, Suzanne, Stacy, and Marnie, as well as their bat mitzvahs. In addition, the eulogies for my parents, Janet and Max Safet, who he adored and who adored him and loved him. Jerry had the gift for making people feel seen and valued. Whether he had known them for years or just met them, he made you feel like you belonged. Our friendship wasn't perfect. No real friendship is perfect. We supported each other, but our friendship was real. We supported each other through heartbreaks. We celebrated milestones and stood side by side during life's uncertainties. He knew my flaws and loved me anyway as I did him. That kind of acceptance is rare, and that kind of friendship is a gift. What I admired most about Jerry was his resilience, his generosity, his courage, humor, and honesty. Even in difficult times, he inspired the people around him. He reminded his family and his friends to be braver, kinder, and not to take life for granted. The lessons he taught us, the memories we carry, and the love he shared, these things will never disappear. Jerry was a special, once-in-a-lifetime rabbi. There were moments of joy under the chuppah, at baby namings, at celebrations filled with song and hope, and there were moments of sorrow. I remember him sitting quietly with families in grief, offering words when words were hard to find, or simply offering his presence when silence was holier. Jerry has 5 beautiful daughters, Nina, Mila, Donnie, Chelsea, and Tess, and their families who he loved. He adored and he bragged about them all the time. And his loving and caring wife, Jeff, who was always by his side and encouraged everything he did. Our tradition teaches us that the memory of the righteous is a blessing. And truly, Jerry's memory is a blessing. The Jewish community he helped to shape, the lives he touched, the congregants he mentored, the families he comforted, and all that is his legacy. Though we feel the ache of his presence, of his absence, we also carry the imprint of his presence. The melodies that he sang, the teachings he shared, and the kindness he modeled, these will live on in us. Grief is the price we pay for love. And if grief is this heavy, it's only because the love was so extraordinary. My friend, thank you. Thank you for the laughter. Thank you for the loyalty, the countless memories. Thank you for trusting me with your friendship. I will carry you with me in the stories I tell, in the lessons you taught me, and in the quiet moments when I feel your presence. Jerila, you were deeply loved, you were deeply missed, and you will never be forgotten. Thank you.
That was so beautiful and funny. But now we're looking at Tuesday for the burial. And if Joanne would honor us with a few words. Joanne is Michael's sister and was our president for many years.
This is not a brother and sister act, and my words will be far more brief. My relationship with Jerry was very, very unique. I came to California 56 years ago, straight out of Brooklyn, and never looked back. My brother Michael, as he said, had a pharmacy on Beverly Drive, and the call words were 2 guys from Brooklyn, and that's who walked in with those little girls in tow, the renegade Rabbi Jerry Cutler. And it was very much a family love fest from the very beginning. It was my first high holiday in a strange new land, and what to do and where to go. And Jerry called it. I sat there with 32 Jews sitting on folding chairs in a rented classroom. And that was the beginning of a revolution. Jerry brought life and spark to a community who had not known that kind of connection in many years. And from that tiny seed grew a community of thousands who attended services at the Motion Picture Academy Theater with a filled house every year. And if you will think about now Jerry's revolution, there is not a single Reform synagogue or conservative synagogue in Los Angeles that didn't wake up and hear the call. How is that guy filling the house and we're empty if there isn't a bar mitzvah? There's not one of them that doesn't now include the laughter and song and spirit that Jerry created with his revolution. He was always unique in his approach to organized religion, but I heard the words straight from his dad's mouth when he said, I may not understand him, but whatever it is, I could never get 1,000 Jews to a service like he does. Jerry made us laugh. And in this world, laughter is truly the best medicine. And he medicated us all, and he doctored us all. Jerry was a good son, a good husband, a good father, a good grandfather, and an amazing friend. He was compassionate in his understanding of human need, and he would very often call me about this person or that person who needed something. Maybe they needed a job or something, and always reaching out to help someone who was there and had a need. My parents loved him, and he was always so kind to them. I remember when Jerry met Jeff, and this is where his life took a most dramatic turn, and in fact, so did all of ours. She created the spark that lit his fire. Her love and encouragement kept him going to do bigger and better things. God sent him an angel when he needed it most, and his love and devotion of his beloved Jeff continued to be always his guiding bright light and his star to follow. It was Jeff's spark that led to most of his successes, and we all benefited from her profound influence on Jerry. What can I say? She always did her best to keep him in line. I was his favorite presidentka. And I say that because there was only one presidentka and I was the favorite. We did not always agree, but we always lovingly agreed to disagree and to keep moving forward, always for the benefit of the temple and of the community that he had created. I cannot recall a single life cycle moment, a simcha or a sad time in all these years that we did not share. His enduring friendship was something I will always cherish. Gerala, lived a life of caring, loving kindness, always knowing to do acts of charity. He was a mensch of the highest calling, and the beauty of his being will live in my heart and my memory forever. Rest in peace, my dear friend. Bill and Ann Katsky are waiting for you.
And lastly, his very good friend Barry Brooks says he has a short few words to say.
My name is Barry Brooks. I have a very personal message that I want to talk to you about. Rabbi Jerry Cutler was a lifelong friend. His passing is a very personal loss for myself and for my family. You know, I know for Jeff and Hannah, Nina, Mila, Donnie, Chelsana, and Tess, this is overwhelming, and my heart goes out to you all. This is a little bit of a history lesson I'm going to give you today, but permit me to give you some perspective on the history of the Cutler and the Brooks families. Our history goes back 105 years, when in 1921, two young immigrants from Poland arrived in New York. Rabbi Abraham Cutler, I call him Avraham Yitzchok, Jerry's dad, and my dad, Harry Brooks, began an epic friendship that lasted 6 decades. This was the beginning, the dawn for our two families. Jerry's dad, Rabbi Abe, married my parents 90 years ago in 1936 and officiated years later in 1964 at the marriage of Gail and myself. And the legacy was continued. Jerry welcomed our family to California in the early 1970s. The Synagogue for the Performing Arts was in its infancy then. He included us in services that held tradition but took a step further in religious experiences. His services, accompanied often by his Hollywood gang, were so meaningful, and they were non-sedating. Standing room only, the first Friday of the month. Jerry just seemed to love the energy and the sparkle. And perhaps, as already said, he slipped back a bit to his Catskill Mountain Jerry early days. Jerla, as I called him, I was Beryl or Berla, was there whenever we needed his guidance and talents as a rabbi. He gave such meaning to our lives when he officiated at the weddings of our 3 children and several of our brisses. We truly had a special relationship, and we both knew it. We loved each other, and we said it to each other. And so the value of my dear friend Jerry Cutler's days on earth will always be measured by what he gave, by what he taught, his love and his compassion, and now by the memories that always will be held by those who loved him. His footprints on the sands of time will be indelible. Thank you.
Barry means so much to us, and he, when my father was in hospice at the house, he came and he was the only person, aside from Pauline, who was able to get him out of this like comatose state. Jerry, can you hear me? Jerry, how you doing? So thank you for that. You brought him back to us for a little bit. Nani, who's the alto in our choir, and so much more than that, has a beautiful song that she wanted to sing and dedicate to my father, called Who Am I? It's by Bernstein's daughter.
No, it's by Bernstein.
Oh, Okay, by Leonard Bernstein. That's right, yeah.
If you'll forgive me, my voice might crack a little here and there. My father passed about 12 years ago, and Jeff and Jerry and Tess and Chelsea so kindly surrounded me with so much love. And I remember when I came back, it was during High Holy Days, when I've been singing with the temple for almost 20 years now. And he said to me, Rabbi Jerry said to me, "Darling girl, you're not alone. You're not an orphan." And he showed me that in so many little ways. With every high holy day, he would extol the things that I'd done. I got into Johns Hopkins. I'm getting a PhD. I went to Africa to sing. I started a nonprofit to help people. And it's something that my dad would have done. So this piece was a favorite of his that I used to do or that I've done. And it kind of touches on that. My dad was a Hindu, and he kind of talked about how in Hinduism and Judaism, there's a lot of similarities, and that transcendental sort of like where we go and what fun we're going to have after. So I thought this would just be perfect. And again, please forgive if there's a crack or two. It's with love.
Funny, the thoughts I have at night, so different from the thoughts I have by day. The moment Mama switches off the light, 1,000 different questions come my way and stay. Who am I? Was it all planned in advance? Or was I just born by chance in July? Oh, who on earth am I? Did I ever live before as a mountain lion or as a fly? My friends only think of fun. They're all such incurable tots. Can I be the only one who thinks these mysterious thoughts? Someday I'll pass. Will I ever live again as a robin or a wren or a lion in a den or a rooster or a hen or a fly? Oh, who am I?
She's a beautiful singer, and you should, this was beautiful. You should also hear her when she's not sick like this, but it made me cry. It was so, so beautiful. And I know you were thinking of my father. Please rise for the El Malay. El Malay, Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, חמסנו מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים נשים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מצירים את נשמת הרב יעקב חיים בן הרב אברהם יצחק שהלך לעולמו בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו. אנא באל הרחמים ישרהו בסתר כנפיו לעולמים בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו בנוח בשלום על משכבו ונאמר amen. Please be seated. He's going to do it in
Did he like?
No, we don't.
We can be seated for a moment.
O God, full of compassion, who dwelled on high, grant perfect rest beneath the sheltering wings of thy divine presence. Among the holy and pure who shine as the brightness of the firmament, to Yaakov Hayam, who has gone to his eternal home, Father of mercy, bring him under the cover of thy wings, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou his possession, and may his repose be forever peaceful. Amen.
Amen. Adonai Natan, but Adonai Lakach. God gives, and on the wings of angels, God took him away.
In just a moment, we'll be leaving the chapel and proceeding to the interment site, the second portion of the service. What we'll be doing, all following behind casket bearers and immediate family, down the center aisle, out through the main doors. There are a lot of people here and a lot of cars. I would ask that as soon as we're outside, please go immediately back to your cars and then wait for the procession to begin. There'll be staff outside directing traffic a little bit. So please do just follow their direction. That way everyone will be able to make it up, and family will be able to be the first several cars. Following the service at Graveside, everyone is invited to join family. They'll be gathering at the Osiris home in Encino. If you need the address, as you're exiting, there are tables on either side of the foyer. There's a handout with directions, so please do take one if you need it. Following, be serving as casket bearers, Aaron Bush, Robbie Frazier, Stephen Zaks, Yossi Osiri, Charles Mathau, Mike Flint, Dan Paulson, and Jerry Goldstein. Once again, as we exit, if everyone will follow us out, and then go ahead immediately back to your cars. If I may ask casket bearers, please come forward. Ask everyone to please rise.
Stuart Cricken, will please come up. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. As we're getting ready, my name is Stuart Criggin. Like Joanne, I was president for a while, and one of the honors that I had when I was president on the Bima with Jerry was at the high holidays when we were blowing the shofar. he and I would both blow the longest Tiki Agadola, the longest blast of the shofar, myself for my father, and Jerry for Rabbi Abraham Isaac Cutler. I haven't done it in a while. I practiced a little this morning, but I'm going to try and give a long Tekiah blast for Jerry. May he join his father and all the loved ones in heaven. Bear with me. Going to take a little time. Could have been longer, but Jerry.
Ask your viewers to gather on each side. 8, so about 44. Okay, that's fine too. I'm not gonna lift it. I'm just gonna walk forward. Roll.
Oh, yeah.
And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, singing of them. When you sing in your house, when you walk away, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall find the cornerstone upon your heart. And you shall leave the countenance between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and the gates, and upon your that you may remember all my commandments, unto your God.